Hi guys, I'm DeAndre Ray. I decided to do my report on the movie A Beautiful Mind. The character I focused on was the protagonist, John Forbes Nash Jr. He was a professor of mathematics at Princeton University, uh, pretty much with a longing to leave his mark on the world. In the film, it was pretty evident that he wasn't your average professor. He was, in fact, a mathematical genius. And he even goes on to win a Nobel Peace Prize for his mathematical breakthrough, which is now called the Nash equilibrium. In the beginning of the film, life was pretty normal for John, but he soon began to hallucinate. He becomes paranoid, also has delusions. Him and his wife, even in one scene, like he can't get aroused, so they were having problems in the bedroom. Thus leading me to believe that he had schizophrenia. Um, One scene in the movie actually confirmed my theory. John had an outbreak and was hauled off to a psychiatric hospital. His wife goes to visit him the next day, and she's like, "What's wrong with him?" The doctor tells her that he has paranoid schizophrenia. The wife can't really comprehend it because he's a mathematical genius. He's a professor, at Princeton. But the doctor goes on to explain that John has, an imaginary friend. John thinks that the doctor's a Russian spy. You um, the other scene to me that stuck out though in the film was toward the end. John and his wife were having a fight, and John pushed his wife, and the imaginary friend, was trying to get John to kill her. This was kind of the turning point to where John's like, no more. He he stops listening to his imaginary friends, and eventually, John's wife and he, decide to stick together, and live with his illness. The last scene he ends up actually is when he wins the Nobel Prize. He's still having hallucinations after the fact, but his family's still there. He's able to go back to teaching because they let him go after they sent him to the psychiatric hospital. Um, to me, the best treatment would have been medication or therapy. I have a family member, my uncle. He has schizophrenia, and I lived next door to him for about 2 3 years, and I witnessed the outburst firsthand. Um, but I knew, and so did my aunt. We knew that he wasn't on his medication. Whenever he wasn't, is when he would have the outbursts. Other than that, he was pretty normal. You know, I believe that people should take the time to research these illnesses, and try to understand them. I feel like my uncle gets a lot of judgment. Everybody just calls him crazy. Most of our family calls him crazy. I, probably called him crazy before, I moved next door to him and actually, got firsthand of, the illness and what it is and what it actually does. But they're not crazy. They just need to be understood.